So it's been a really long time since I've done a YouTube video, and it's mainly because I've been making a lot of school content this year and told a lot of cool stories that I enjoy a lot more than making these videos. And it's not because I don't enjoy making these videos, it's because other people's stories are a lot cooler than mine, or at least I think that, and it's more enjoyable for me to tell their stories than mine. But anyway, I've been working a lot on a senior video for the past like 5 weeks. So, and I worked a lot on other stuff throughout the entire year. But either way, it was really fun senior year capturing a lot of the things that I did. And the reason why I'm doing this now is because I'm graduated high school. Granted, it didn't come to an end like I thought it would. So that's kind of what I'm here to tell you today, is my story of being a senior in high school and what it felt like to end my senior year in this way, and kind of tell you my story of how it impacted me. And over the past 7 weeks, since March 26th, I've filmed myself every week, told my thoughts and stuff like that, and that's kind of what I'll be doing in this video, is going back and interjecting those like personal interviews, if you will, into this video. I wanted to first off tell you my story of March 12th, 2020. March 12th, 2020 was the last day I attended normal high school. The morning was definitely a blur. It just seemed like a normal school day, but by lunch things started to change quickly. And my schedule is, I had 5 hours in the morning, lunch, then 2 hours in the afternoon. So most of the day had gone by, but in reality it was just getting started. I remember exactly what we had for lunch that day. We had grilled ham and cheese, we had green beans, and we had french fries. Specifically remember that. And I had my last drink of cranberry juice, which I greatly miss from my cafeteria. Seems weird, but whatever that cranberry juice was at my high school was really good, and I kind of miss it. Everybody was expecting something big to happen, but we didn't know what it was. Because then 7th hour came around, and I actually had 7th hour's calculus, and I actually had a calc test that day, which made things even weirder. We walked in and he's like, well, you can take it today or you can take it tomorrow. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take it tomorrow. And my friend kept telling me, I was like, dude, we're not gonna be at school tomorrow. And I was like, I don't understand, what are you talking about? Like, I was so confused and probably really naive about a lot of this stuff. We asked him our calc teacher some questions, and then it just kind of turned into like, this might be our last calculus class, and how are we gonna do this moving forward? We have 3 levels in our high school, and I remember walking down the 3rd level hallway from my calculus class, going to my last hour, and then I went down the stairs to the 2nd floor, and I just remember turning the corner and being like, this is probably, I just have a gut feeling that this is the last class of my high school career. We had worked hard in this class for the entire quarter, and we only had 2 days till spring break, so for kind of our reward, our teacher said, or told us earlier in the week, that we were going to watch The Truman Show the last 2 days. And I love The Truman Show, so I was kind of looking forward to that. So that's what I did. That's how I spent my last hour of high school, is watching The Truman Show, which is kind of interesting. You know, having a normal life and then realizing that this normal life is going to totally change, and kind of like how Truman walks out of the door of his world, that class was us walking out of the door into a new world that we weren't expecting to leave. And then the real thing that happened, that was the surreal part, was when the announcements came on about 2:58, and like I said, there's a lot of speculation throughout the day, a lot of mystery, a lot of like what's really happening. And then our dean of students just laid it all on us, and it was like so dramatic. I was like, this feels like actually like a movie scene. Like, I was like looking around, I was like, these are like cameras panning up, like it was insane. Like, I had my hands on my desk like this. I was just like, slowly as the announcements went by, my jaw dropped. And basically my teacher was describing to us that we weren't going back to school, at least for a while, that every sport was canceled and stuff like that. I remember leaving and asking my teacher, I was like, so we don't have practice today, because I had golf practice, and he's like, I guess not. So I walked out to my car, and everybody was going crazy, and like, cause school's out and things like that. I call my coach, and he's like, yeah, I don't know what we're doing. I guess it's over. So I drove home with no radio, no nothing, and and my drive's like 20 minutes. So I was just like processing it all and thinking, like, this is insane. This is like completely insane. And you don't know this, but I do journal entries every night. Some of mine here. And it's basically for me to reflect back on moments like these and see where my mental state, as well as like what I was thinking at that moment, because this was an interesting exercise for me, because I went back and I read what I had wrote on those days and saw what my thought process was, what I was feeling. And I pulled two quotes out that kind of relay, or kind of how I based my story that I just told you off of. So the way I introduced my March 12th journal entry was, well, let me say, I'm definitely going to remember this day for the rest of my life, and I will definitely remember it for the rest of my life. And then the second quote is, during 7th hour today, I went from worrying about a calc test to the following hour thinking that this might be my last class in high school. And yeah, March 12th was probably going to be a top 10 craziest day of my life. Today is March 26th, 2020. Today is April 3rd, week 3, 17th? Yes, Friday the 17th. It's week 5. This is week 5. It's week 7 because last week I skipped on accident. Online school for me was really weird. I started out really liking it. Today we started online schooling. Interesting. I'm getting to make my own schedule, which is what I love. That's what I like about the weekends. I can structure my own time. Granted, we still have stuff to do, but it's just, for me, I like structuring my own time, and I can structure my own time with the schoolwork we get. However, I began to grow really frustrated with it. About 11:30, a few days I went to like 1, which kind of sucked, because I'm just really sick of online school, and it's not that it's just a drag, it's just a reminder of I wish I could be in school, whereas if I didn't have any schoolwork, I really wouldn't feel that as bad. But having to wake up every morning going to school that way just made me wish I was actually going to school, and driving on 435 and getting off on State Line Road and just walking in the doors. What is my viewpoint of all this? It's kind of an interesting situation, definitely the most interesting situation I've ever been in my entire life. It's interesting to see the difference in how some sides are super concerned. The nightly news, they keep preaching this thing, facts over fear, facts over fear. But for me, watching that every night is the most fearful thing I get. They literally control our minds when it comes to things like this. And it's kind of a weird paradox of how that works. And the podcast I always listen to, the broadcasters are the keepers of the takes. And it's true. They literally decide how we view things. And it's kind of crazy how that works. Sure, we can make up our own opinion on it, but they're the ones who are giving the details, giving the facts, and basically leading us down one or two paths. More sad that this thing has become a political dividing topic, because I feel like the past 2 weeks, that's all it's really been. I haven't really watched the news, don't really pay attention to that much anymore. That's all it's really been, is a political division of how people are viewing this, and I think that's the wrong way to view it. They didn't sign up for this, neither did all of us, so there's no really reason to blame them for trying to do their best to see this through. It seems like once a week, maybe once every other week, I get this like feeling of like emptiness and like numbness because of all of this. and like the reality that's actually happening, and like the fear of missing out, like I'm missing out on something. But for the most part, that's only about 2 hours out of every other week. You know, when I reflected back on that thing on April 10th, 2020, saying that I felt numb like 2 hours like every week. And it's true, because during that time, it seemed like every week something big in my life was being canceled. And now it's not really that way anymore. We're more thinking, when can we start doing things? That's kind of how the world is now, rather than thinking, what are we missing out on? It's kind of hit that plateau, and now we're going the other way with it. But it's true, like, and I think a lot of people would agree with me that it's like every time you got hit with something like that, is like, okay, yeah, we're in this world now. You just have to process that, and it might take 2 or 3 hours to do that, and that's kind of how it worked for me. It's May 9th, we're out of school. Life is changing quickly. Kansas, the rules are changing quickly. In Kansas, there's 3 phases. The first phase is like not really that much, just a few more things, essential things opening, and like a little more like hospital leniency, meaning like they can operate on people and do like planned surgeries and stuff like that. Then phase 2 is, which is hopefully going to start in like a week and a half, is where like more like essential businesses open. Then phase 3 is like basically everything, but at a social distanced level. Let's just put it this way. There is no way in heck I could have been friends with my freshman self. You know, I was so naive, like unbelievably naive about a lot of things. And just like over 4 years, I think a lot of things have happened, and I've learned a lot. And I've learned a lot more about understanding others, and during my high school year, understanding people's situations, stuff like that. And I'm really thankful for having that opportunity to do that. And I am definitely ready for a new chapter in my life. I was definitely not done with high school, but just like many seniors, I was just ready to get out of there and ready to do something different. Having college next year and golf and everything like that, it's such a weird feeling, because there's a chapter of my life that's ending, and it's ending on a bad note. But the thing is like, there's another chapter, which is weird. It's not like a cliffhanger, it's not like anything like that. It's just like, it's a bad ending, but there's still another chapter, and there's still thousands of more chapters. Realizing that was really good for me, and I'm really looking forward to going to college, hopefully going to college. That, if I don't go to college, we're gonna have issues. My drive going into college will be really good, thanks to having this long extended time, and I'm really looking forward to going to college. Like my take on college was so much different 5 months ago than it is now, because everything's changed. So I think it's gonna be an interesting summer, and I'm gonna keep you along the way. I'm gonna try to make quite a few movies this summer, a lot more different than I used to make them, a more thought out video than what I used to make. So I take a lot more time with it and make sure I'm proud of it. So there might not be as many, but I will hope to God give you the best quality possible. Yeah, stay tuned this summer. I'm actually looking forward to making quite a few good YouTube videos. So.